We lit. Friday morning. What's the date? The 12th? Holy crap. May 12th. We're in full swing with NBA playoffs. We got a game going, a game 7. Some chaos last night. Sixers, they had them in the first. They had him in the first half. And then they let that bad man do his thing. I let him drop almost 20 in the second half en route to losing game 6. 95-86. Celtics take that one. Low-scoring game. Pretty shocked by that. Celtics ride with a 7-man roto and beat Philly in the hizzow. Jesus. Any thoughts on this, JB? Opening up Friday morning.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they had their chance, right? But the thing is, even though they were able to hold, Tatum to 1 point in the first half, they really weren't even able to capitalize on it and get anything going in the first half. And the interesting thing is, Embiid mentioned in a post-game press conference after Game 5, we're going home. We should have the advantage. Didn't look that way. I think the inconsistency of the playoff James Harden really showed. And at the same time, I think the Celtics are doing a great job at playing Embiid, limiting his involvement in the offense and making them spread the ball. I mean, you could see how many shots Maxey actually took last night. I think he led the team.
Buckets.
I believe, he 20 total shots. If Maxey is going to be, at the end of the game, your shot leader, I'm okay with that. I think that's great. I think that's great playoff basketball by the Celtics, and I think it shows why they are the favorite at the end of the day, because they make adjustments even when their star player isn't, maybe performing up to standards that night. And you know what? He came out in the second half and he balled. He put up 18. That's good with me, right?
Yeah,
he didn't give up.
Crazy.
He didn't just check out. He didn't pass the ball, man. He found his rhythm and he got going. So
it happens, right? Everybody's been at that point where a couple don't fall, a little discouraged for whatever reason. You got to find your rhythm after another, 5-6 shots. So, listen, these games are won by superstars. That's what happens in the playoffs. You lean on these guys. You touched on it, man. You can't lean on Maxey, even though, listen, he shot almost 50%, but he's still taking 20 shots for you. Toby Harris, 1 for 7. By God, that contract is not looking nice. All right, let's shift to Western Conference here. Nugs, Suns. Nugs pull away with one, man. 125-100. 25-point dub on their head in Phoenix. Is this shocking to you? To me, this is shocking, man. I had a lot of high hopes for that team,
man. I mean, if you go back to, I believe last week when we talked about this series, I called it. I'm like, it's over, it's done, right? The Suns had a little bit of life in them, game 3, game 4, but at some point you knew the Nuggets were going to close them out. Jokic is him. For me, this dude is the MVP. He's got a guy like Jamal Murray helping him out on his team, but if you look at Jamal Murray versus James Harden, I mean, you clearly probably would rather have James Harden on your team. This guy is just doing everything well. We're looking at 38 minutes last night, 3 for 18 from the floor, 6 for 6,
13 for 18.
13 for 18, my bad. 6 for 6 from the free throw line. 10 boards, 12 assists, 3 steals, a block, 32 points. I mean, he's doing that on a road in game 6.
Yeah.
It's a closeout game, yeah, right? But, I mean, on the road in game 6, this man is just, he's different. He's different. And at the end of the day, I think it just goes to show, and I'm glad this kind of happened, because it just goes to show that sometimes blowing it up and trading your depth for a superstar like Kevin Durant, it's not the best thing to do sometimes. Yeah. Right? It might be the easy fix, the quick fix on paper, but man, we're talking about a trade that happened at the All-Star break. These guys they're not clicking yet. The chemistry ain't there. KD missed a lot of games. I think that plays into this. But at the same time, I think this just furthers LeBron's greatness at the end of the day, man. Seeing what he's been able to do with some of these teams, and KD, he really hasn't been able to carry it himself. I know he isn't the guy in Phoenix, but for me, if I'm looking at it, man, you gotta be guy 1A, guy 1B in Phoenix. Like, they're both too good, right?
Yeah, here's the crazy part, right? When you made a trade like this, you lost a tremendous amount of role players and depth to your team. But what if I told you, JB, what if I told you in this game 6, Cam Payne, 12 for 16, 31 fucking points.
Yeah.
And they lose.
Yeah.
I mean, he shoots 75% from the field, 31 points, and you lose. Devin Booker, 4 for 13, 12 points.
This just reminds me so much of last year when they lost to the Mavericks. What was it, in game 6, man? They just got blown out. Devin Booker was nowhere to be found. I mean, we're talking about a guy that shot 4 for 13 last night. 3 of his 12 points came from the free throw line. So, I mean, this guy did nothing last night. He didn't do what he's supposed to do for Phoenix.
That loss of
KD
Chris
had
Paul.
a decent showing. I mean, he shot around 50%, but only 23 points. This is very similar to why the Sixers lost too, right?
Yeah.
Maxey took the most amount of shots. Dude, you can't have your highest scoring player be fucking Cameron Payne, dog. You can't.
Yeah, even if he has a hot shooting night, you can't allow him to take that many shots. He's so reliant on him. But to me, it's a clear indicator, as much as I don't want to say it, old-ass Chris Paul really was that glue piece for them, and everything ran through him. I mean, we saw, listen, he had 13 points last night, D-Book, but 8 assists. So he's still facilitating and running this offense, but that's not his skill set. Like, that's not his role. That's not what makes the Suns lethal. It's him on the wing and, having him as a scoring presence and being a consistent bucket. So,
last thing I'll say, I saw a crazy bet last night on this game. Somebody placed a $200 bet that Cameron Payne would be the first player to score 10 points. Guy hit it, paid out $14,000.
Holy shit. That's a crazy race bet. I don't think I've ever seen those player-specific race bets. Oh, shit.
First one to 10. That's pretty
I would never put $1 on campaign. Not a single dollar. It doesn't matter the odds. I wouldn't put $1 on campaign. All right, listen, let's keep it in the NBA here. All NBA teams dropped this past week. They were revealed. First, second, third team. Some crazy names that are starting to work their way up the rankings and start earning some accolades. To me, the biggest one, especially with this All-NBA first team, it's obviously glaring. It's SGA. It's SGA. Is he legitimately the NBA's best point guard?
Well, at the end of the day, it's their format's what? It's 2 guards, and then it's 2 people from the backcourt, and then 3 from the front court. Correct? Mm-hmm. I believe that's how they do it. So it doesn't have to be position specific. So it could be 2 shooting guards, right? I guess basketball nowadays is positionless, anyways. But it's an interesting one because he has the numbers, right? He averaged around like 31 points a game this season.
Yeah, but it was nuts.
I look at this as like impact too, man. I mean, we got guys like Steph Curry, Donovan Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, Dame Lillard on a third team, right? Is he really better than Steph Curry and Donovan Mitchell? Donovan Mitchell actually tweeted about this. And I think Draymond actually brought it up on his podcast about I don't know if you want to. Can you see if you can pull the tweet up? It may have been like a day or two ago. Donovan Mitchell tweeted about not being on first team or something like that. But I don't know. It's weird seeing him there this guy can go get his bucket, but is it because his team's so bad or because he's really that good? Right?
Yeah, essentially his tweet. I mean, he's just indicating that he was snubbed for first team. Yeah, I think it's really just relying on stats for me on this one. Like his team success was very mediocre. A lot of people are like, listen, they're a really bad team. The Thunder, they don't have any big names and they still have a lot of versatile players that are going to be very successful in this level. I don't think they're as bad as people think. They're actually a fringe play-in team near the end of the year. Or actually, did they make the play-in?
They might have Thunder.
Yeah,
they did. They lost.
They made the play-in. That's right.
They lost to the Timberwolves in the last game.
Yeah. So they're not as bad as what people think. Everything runs through him. So 31 points a game. It's nutty. When you average 31 points a game, man, in this day and age, it's a scoring league. You're going to get praise. You're going to earn accolades. Interesting. I guess for me, it's kind of like, hey, I'm not really thinking anybody else should have earned it. It's just shocking to see that he's here. Like SGA is here. Anything else on these All NBA teams? To me, that's the big one.
I mean Luka, Tatum, Giannis, Embiid. They're all expected to be there.
Second team, Curry, Mitchell,
It's surprising to see somebody as good as Jokic on second team. I will say that.
It's just how that format is, right? Yeah. It's almost like throw them in the first team, move the guys down.
I will say I love the whole Jaylen Brown story, man. The rumors of being traded,
big Jaylen Brown guy,
for the past how many years, and this dude just balls out and goes and gets fucking NBA second team. Like that's a great story. And then for third team, I'd say maybe Sabonis. I don't want to say it's shocking, but it's a new face that you probably haven't seen, as well as De'Aaron Fox. Yeah, and I don't know if Julius Randle's been on the NBA team. Probably the most shocking thing, though, about the third team is this man right here. You're telling me that he's not better than these two guys?
It's all downhill from here, man. Yeah. It's over for him. It's over. No, it's absolutely not.
I mean, these lists, really all these mean at the end of the day is just how much money you can actually get a contract extension, or if you're if you're on an expiring contract or something like that. So that's really all this means at the end of the day. Personally, I don't think people are going to look back at it and be like, oh, like Donovan Mitchell never made first NBA team. Like, just it's all money. That's all it is.
It'll be interesting to see what that Celtics team does, man. I mean, obviously they're going to retain their guys and they have the rights to do.
But I just happened to look over at this tweet to the side here.
What do we got? Read it out for me. I can't see it.
It says I'm the dude. I can't
read it. Read it out.
Read it, bro. I'll go to prison if I read it.
I'm the. What does that say? Thickest.
Yeah. Top comment on fucking.
I'm the thickest 18-year-old on Twitter. Jesus Christ.
The top comment on the. At ESPN's 2022-2023 All-NBA fucking team, dog.
I'm the thickest 18-year-old on Twitter. Listen, that's modern day Twitter, though. Like, people will push that shit to the top.
You know what, though? The second comment is, I see no Anthony Davis and John Morant makes this list inconclusive. I will say, John Morant, I'm surprised he's not on this, but they may have kept him off of it because of the incident that happened.
Yeah.
That could be why, but
PR move.
That's definitely somebody that probably could have made it and didn't.
100%. All right, let's shift. NFL, baby. Woo! I got a crazy stat for you guys, man. I had to send this over to JB. A crazy stat. Yes, it's around Justin Fields again. I'm not hating, But I will say I hate seeing these stats pop up on my feed. It happens all too often. You don't want your franchise quarterback being involved with these stats. You want to read it off from JB?
No, this is your baby. You can go ahead and take care of this because I do have a couple things to say about this.
So it is a loaded stat, guys. Like it's stating here, Justin Fields, he finished 34th in passing yards per game. Okay. 36th being Justin Jefferson. 2 spots behind my star quarterback. So it is loaded. I get it because the drop off. Eventually, there's a cliff, right? It's like, okay, it's at 35.
Yep. And I have that clip for you. So
yeah,
Fields was at 149 and a half yards a game.
Oh,
Justin Jefferson threw last year for only 34 yards the whole year. So
it's almost like clickbait, right? It's like clickbait.
It's clickbait. It is. Yeah. There's no meaning to that stat at all. There's zero. So what we should be looking at is this list instead, right? That tweet means nothing. This is what we should be looking at because these are quarterbacks, right? Justin Fields finished dead last, right? 149 and a half yards a game.
Mm-hmm.
Below or right above him was Brissett, Mariota, Mayfield, Pickett, yada, 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 right? Also Lamar Jackson, 186.8.
Wow.
Man just got paid. So that's what you really should be looking at. That tweet is 1,000% clickbait, means nothing. But you can see that you can understand why Kyle and I don't really believe the hype around Justin Fields just yet.
Yeah, I'm buying some hype. Like I have shares in Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Like I got in at a low point. I'm excited about my investment. Now, to think that it's going to be the next Microsoft, Google, I don't feel so good about that. Like I really don't. And it's not going to be shocking when he does get paid if he has a solid year, just like you stated. Lamar Jackson got the bag.
Here's the interesting thing. Look at how high he is for rushing yards a game. 76.2.
Pay that man like a running back. Pay him like a running back.
In the NFL in rushing last year. But 48 or 46, whatever the number was, in yards per game through the air last year. So if we can dial back the running a bit, develop the arm, we'll be okay. The Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer.
Even Jay?
They're the only franchise in the NFL without one.
Sickening. I'm going to take your word on that. Jay Cutler didn't reach that mark?
No one in Bears history.
High 30s, right?
4,000 passing yards in the season. Yeah. I'm almost certain, about 99% sure, we are the only franchise that has never had a 4,000-yard passer.
Ooh, I don't know. Well, I was going to say Texans, but Deshaun Watson absolutely killed that mark. Being that they're the most recent franchise, I thought you would have. I would have stumped you on that one.
The Bears have a it's a big word. Ignominious history at quarterback. So it's fitting. They are the only franchise that doesn't have a 4,000-yard season in its history. Kramer, another journeyman, threw for 3,838 yards in 1995.
Hey, Kramer. Jesus Christ. That's sickening. It was a loaded question.
Jake Loader, 3,800 season. That was it.
Yeah.
Never
sounds about right.
Passer. Can Justin Fields be that guy? We'll see.
Let's keep it on the NFL. NFL 2024 mock draft. Yes, that's right. We're already talking about next year's crop of prospects. Some huge names coming out. I think it was it McShay that already tweeted out his top 5? Kuiper, one of those jabronis.
Yeah, Todd McShay.
Todd McShay. So we got a top 5 here and some tentative landing spot, predictive estimated landing spots, which is shocking to me. In this number 1 hole, we have Caleb Williams, right, headed to Tampa Bay. I'll be honest. For this, I just don't see the Bucks being the worst team in the NFL.
It looks like it's via projected trade, though.
Okay.
That's why.
Makes sense. I was just gonna say it has to be from some sort of trade. Maybe they move on from some of those receivers, but still, like I don't know what kind of assets you're gonna be able to put together to go up and get this. You know,
you're going to have to give up your future. That's what's so interesting about something like this. When teams do that, right? They give up a lot of draft capital to go get their guy, and then they can't put anybody around him for the next 3 years, 2 to 3 years. It's hard to develop him. So you're really relying on the hype around a rookie to bring in maybe some slightly past their prime veterans, you know, to surround themselves
overpay on those guys, of course.
Yeah, they overpay on them, but for me, I think this might have been their strategy all along. They didn't trade up. I don't believe they traded up in the draft. I originally thought they would, but they didn't. And they have Baker Mayfield, and they've been hyping him up a little bit. But I think at the end of the day, they really know what they have with him. I think there's something that came out a week ago or something, maybe within the past week, that they said that he didn't really get a fair shot in Cleveland. I think it's all smoke.
That's smoke.
They know that Mayfield sucks. They're trying everything they can do to probably get to that number 1 pick on their own. But it will be interesting to see. I think if they land in the top 5, there's a chance they'll trade up, but they're gonna have to give up a lot to move, because I think, me personally, I think Caleb Williams is probably the most talented quarterback that's come out of the draft in a long time. And now some people would be like, "Oh, well, Mahomes came out, yada yada," but he wasn't really he wasn't scouted that high, right?
Trevor Lawrence would be I would say Trevor Lawrence.
Probably a comparison, but this guy can move a little bit more. But I'd say he's probably the best overall draft prospect to come out of the draft in a long time at quarterback position. So there's going to be a lot of teams going for him.
100%, yeah. But like you said, I think it's a matter of who's willing to give that pick up.
Yeah,
I'm not. Hell no. If I need a quarterback, there ain't no way. Yeah. Even if I really necessarily didn't need one.
No. This would have been the year to do something like that. If you had the number 1 pick and you needed a quarterback and people were calling you, I absolutely would have traded the pick away, because I felt like there were a few solid options. Nobody stood out.
Everybody had a knock, right?
Yeah.
Everybody had a knock.
Yeah. So
this guy has none.
Well, he may have some knocks, but I think he's a class above anybody else in the draft. I mean,
100%.
You can see the next one's Drake May. We all know about those North Carolina quarterbacks.
Yeah. Biskey, Howell. Yeah. We'll see how Howell does this year, but I'm not looking forward to it. Number 2, Marvin Harrison Jr. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, huge prospect. He looks to be the best wide receiver prospect to come out since Jamar Chase. So, very excited about that one. Who do we have here at 3? I can't see it.
Drake May to the Commanders.
Drake May to the Commanders. Very interesting, right? They just spent a little bit of capital, not a lot, in Sam Howell, but that's not going to go well. No. Maybe Drake May's their guy. Let's keep riding the wave.
Who knows?
Interesting. An undersized quarterback out of North Carolina, though.
But I think I think between the 2 teams that are probably going to try to do everything they can to get Caleb Williams, I think those are the 2 teams, probably in my eyes at least. It's going to be the Commanders and the Bucks.
Tennessee Titans with the 4 hole. What do we have there?
Linebacker Dallas Turner out of Alabama.
Okay, Bama backer. Sounds about right. And then Cardinals back on the clock. Who's that 5 hole?
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
I love that.
Alabama.
Yeah, I love that fucking name. I love it. You just do it for the jerseys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you're the Cardinals, you sell that motherfucker with just Kool-Aid on the back. You don't play around with his actual last name.
Yeah.
It's an agreement. It's an agreement.
That'd be something to see. But I think the interesting thing for me is seeing that he's got the Titans taking a linebacker at 4. I think right now that's probably the decision that they would go if they were in that slot. But if they start to see their boy develop a little bit, I think
they try to move up.
That they could go move up and potentially get this man Marvin Harrison Jr. So, but I really do think the Cardinals, that's their guy.
Yeah,
wherever they land, they're gonna take him. Wherever they land, they're not gonna take him number 1 overall. They understand that because they know whoever's number 1 is gonna take Caleb Williams, right?
Yeah.
But they're not going to move down far enough where they could potentially lose him. They're going to scout the hell out of this guy. It's probably the only name on their draft board right now.
Yeah, there's no way because they're losing D-Hop. They're eventually letting him walk. You got to slot him in. You got to, in my eyes, he's right there, fringe top 10 guy in Kyler Murray when healthy. You pair him up with Marquise Brown and Marvin Harrison. Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. All right. Last thing before we get into the tier list here, NFL schedules also dropped this week. We're going to go over the top 10 games. I believe this was written by Yahoo, someone like that. Just the most watched, what games to watch, most hype games of the year. I think we got some honorable mention ones as well that we'll throw in at the end. We'll rattle through this from bottom up. So we got what in the 10 spot?
We got the Houston Texans versus the Panthers in Week 8.
Okay.
You get to see the number 1 and number 2 pick battle it out for the first time.
I like that.
I think they'll have I don't want to say their careers will mirror each other, but just something about playing some of the guys that you were drafted in the same class with. I think they'll both have semi-decent careers at a minimum, so we'll see him around for a while, and hopefully this turns into the next Chiefs Bengals rivalry. I'd love to see something like that. I know it's 2 different conferences, but always good for the game, always good for the fans.
Nice little battle of the bums there. A couple names to watch. Young versus Stroud. What's at 9?
The Jets versus the Giants, Week 8. It's the home away game.
So a much improved Giants team, right? And obviously Green Bay East. All the hype around that little squad that we talked about last week. Yeah, I don't mind this game, man. I don't mind this game. Danny Jones, does he take the next step? I think he's a guy that, if you put some solid talent around him, could flourish. He had nothing around him last year. People are really knocking him. Oh, he's not an elite quarterback. He's not deserving of that contract. You guys got to remember, there's only so many guys that you want leading your team on Sunday. There's only so many out there. And he's kind of one of them. He's become one of them. He's been an excellent game manager. He's shown you that he's got, the ability to move and make plays with his feet. And he's taking care of the football. So I think they went out and drafted that Jalen Hyatt, and they're trying to find some pieces around him. I like this game. I do. Next.
I'm indifferent about it.
You just don't. You're not on board with fucking Green Bay East. Just be honest.
No,
you don't see the hype around them.
I don't believe in the Jets and what they're doing. They have a great team, but it's just, I don't know, man. I'm a timing type of person, and for me, it's just difficult when you've got someone like Josh Allen, how good the Bills are, in your division. You've got the Dolphins, who are just loaded, man. Timing's. I know you got to compete, right? But I think timing's part of it, and
sure,
they spent a lot of money getting this guy. It's really Super Bowl or bust. There's not many teams out there that are Super Bowl or bust. So If you don't win that Super Bowl, man, this was a really bad decision. Someone's going to lose their job over this. I'll say that. If this does not win a Super Bowl, someone's losing their job. So
you're out.
All right, at 8 we got the Dolphins at the Chargers, Week 1. This is, I guess you could say, like a revenge game for not taking me, or right? I mean, I guess that's what you could say.
Yeah, I guess it's that matchup, right? You're looking at Herbert Tua and saying, "Hey, who's the better guy out of this?"
Yeah, the Dolphins passed up on Herbert and took Tua. So,
and at the time, I don't think he was that outlandish. It just sucks, right? It's like the same spot as the Mahomes pick. Everybody's kicking themselves, wishing they would have had him. But at the time, you're talking about Tua Tagovailoa, who looked great. He looked great in college, man. He looked great, and he actually, before his concussion problem last year, he was actually trending to be almost a top 5 type of guy last season with that new offense of Tyreek Hill and Waddle. So this would be a good game, right? Just high-powered offenses gunning it out.
Yeah, good Week 1 matchup too.
Yeah.
All right, we got Thanksgiving game this year. The Packers versus the Lions. And might I add real quick, thank the Lord, and I know this is crazy coming out of a Bears fan's mouth. Thank the Lord that the Lions are somewhat decent again, because I can't tell you how just awful it was watching them play every year on Thanksgiving, man, with how bad they were.
They're so bad.
I didn't even want to turn the game on.
Every year you get the Lions at Ford Field looking just dreadful, right? Yeah. David Blau starting quarterback. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So at least if we're holding, true with tradition, at least the Lions are somewhat competitive again.
Yeah.
But diving into this matchup, it'll be interesting this year because the Packers have been fortunate enough to have 2 quarterbacks for the last 30 years, right? 2 superstar MVP Super Bowl winning quarterbacks for the past 30 years. Now they got a new guy in there, Jordan Love, who's probably better than some of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Over the last couple of years, he's probably been better. He was playing behind an MVP caliber quarterback. It's tough.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers did it backing up Brett Favre. So, they have a process. It works, but it'll be interesting to see this rivalry kind of like renewed, because the Lions have just been getting pummeled and pummeled and pummeled by the Packers for years, man. Worse than the Bears getting pummeled by them. So I think, getting that new quarterback in there, the Lions have a solid squad. I think this is good for the fans. They can get back into that rivalry because, man, when a rivalry is so one-sided, it is miserable.
Ain't a rivalry anymore, right?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's really not. So I think this is a great game. I will absolutely be watching this one.
Good one. Let's keep it rolling here. We got to get moving.
The Bills at the Jets, Week 1, another Week 1 matchup.
Okay, this is again. I'm on the hype train. I want to see how it looks. Joe doesn't give a shit. He's like, I don't believe in the hype of Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay East. But I'll tell you what, Buffalo Bills, they roll into New York. They drop one early. Uh-oh. That hype train is going to multiply, right?
Oh, yeah.
It'll absolutely multiply. I'm excited about that matchup. Let's see that. We won. We want all that smoke. Let's see it right out the gates.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 5, we got Bills Bengals Week 9, the Damar Hamlin game.
Damar Hamlin reunion?
Yeah.
Sweet. I'll be honest. I don't care about the whole Damar Hamlin thing. It's football. It happens. The game should be good. Again, high-powered offenses. Let's see it happen. Let's finish that one out.
4, the Eagles Cowboys Week 9 and 14.
I can hear the fucking Cowboys fans from the mountains excited about this one.
The interesting thing I will say about this game, these games, because there's two of them, right, is that the NFC East for the past umpteen years has not been won by the same team back-to-back years.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of hope for Cowboys fans thinking that they can come in and they can beat the Eagles. And for them, I think it's very reassuring. If they can beat, a team that almost won a Super Bowl last year, their confidence can be through the roof. And I'm not talking about the players, I'm talking about the fans, man.
Yeah.
Fans. And then number 3 game. This, you and I talked before we started. I don't understand this one. The Niners Eagles week 13. I don't understand why this is the number 3 must need watch game of the year. I don't like. What are your thoughts on this one? This one, I don't understand it.
To me, they're saying, listen, if we had Brock Purdy last year in that game, we'd look a lot better. So this is just that rematch. You want to see what a healthy Brock Purdy looks like in that offense, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm really not a believer in the Niners though, as fucked up as that sounds. I'm not as high on the Niners as everybody else is. They're starting to lose some pieces, and will Brock Purdy be able to replicate what he did last year? Let's see it. Right? Last couple?
For me, Brock Purdy reminds me of Carson Wentz. Or my bad, not Carson Wentz, Nick Foles. He just rode that momentum they had, man, and after that, he was never the same. So for me, I don't see it, dude. But number 2, we've got the Bengals Chiefs week 17. Potentially
big implications.
Potentially an AFC championship game. Matchup. This is a big one because this could determine seeding.
Absolutely.
Right? Who gets that home playoff game at the end of the day? So
I like that.
I like this one at 2. It's always nice to see potential playoff matchups during the regular season because it almost is played like a playoff game because they understand the meaning behind that game. Like, even if they end up with the same record, they've got that tiebreaker, right? Like this game is so important. So I do think this would be a big watch game next year. Any thoughts real quick before I move on to number 1?
Yeah, this is always a good matchup, right? Like, we can't wait for it. 2 Hall of Fame, or
I think this is
on pace to be Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
To me, this is like the same thing as Brady Manning back in the day. Like,
absolutely.
Brady Manning. I just like it flashbacks of watching them play in the regular season.
Yep. Late in the year.
Number 1,
good stuff.
Our Super Bowl rematch, week 11.
Okay.
I'd be interested. Right. I'm definitely going to watch this game for sure.
Yeah, this will be a prime time.
It's at Arrowhead. It's going to be fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams are still very competitive. The Eagles lost some pieces, but man, they had a good draft.
Hell of a draft.
I think this will be right up there with the Bengals Chiefs as well. Man, you got to feel bad for the Chiefs almost, man. They play some really good teams throughout the year. But I will say this, strength of schedule wise, the Eagles had a lot of haters last year for their strength of schedule. They now have the number 1 highest strength of schedule this year. So if they can be the number 1 seed again this year, or be even number 2, they're going to prove a lot of doubters wrong.
Carries a lot of weight.
Still doubters. So
huge games. Yeah, huge games this year. Couple honorable mentions. We got a game in Germany. We've got a game in England, right?
Yeah. So we decided to have 3 honorable mentions, and I had a couple, and you had one as well. We'll do yours after this. But for me, I think this Jaguars Bills game, week 5, in Hotspur Stadium in London.
Yeah.
I mean, these are 2 playoff teams.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
In London. I think that's going to be a really exciting game to watch, and just good for football in general, right? Growing the sport. So this is a big one. I don't know how this got left off. And then more importantly, how did this game get left off? The Dolphins and the Chiefs, week 9 in Germany.
I love that game.
Man, that's gonna be like you're gonna treat this game almost like the Super Bowl out there, man. There's gonna be fans everywhere having a
Fireworks,
great
man.
time. I think this is awesome for the game of football.
A little bit of Tyreek Hill smoke too. He's been saying he's been calling the Chiefs the Queefs or something like that.
That's news to me, but you bring up a great point. Tyreek Hill versus former team. So I think those are two great games, and I'm very surprised that they were left off that list for a couple of the other matchups. And then you had your honorable mention as well. I don't have the graphic for that.
Yeah, it's Jets hosting the Dolphins Black Friday. So we love when you add football to all of our holidays. We love it. We got nothing else to do but watch football, drink, hang out with friends, cook up some good food. So excited about this schedule, man. Looks like a lot of fun next year.
Yeah. Good year for football.
We're here. We finally made it. The NFL QB tier list. Okay. We're going to rank every notable quarterback, not just starters. There's also some backup in there, some rookie talent, some prospects. We're going to rank them in tiers. Now, where we place these guys also matters, right? From left to right. But just to rattle off our tiers, JB, do you want to lay it out for them, what this is going to look like?
So the almighty Himothy tier, right? Like he is him. He is we've got our superstar tier, right? They might just be missing one little thing to their game, or might be known for throwing a couple or far too many picks or whatever, right? Turnovers. We've got our stars. We got our half stars, right? They're missing a piece here and there that's stopping them from being a top 5 talent. Mr. Average, because we all know there's plenty of Mr. Average out there in the NFL, guys that they're hanging on to their careers a little too long, potentially. We've got the guys that, they hand the ball off well. Kudos. Great job. And then we've got our rookies, right? It's hard to rank your rookies when you've never even seen them play. And then we've got our guys, man, they're one bad outing away from selling insurance and wearing khakis. So, they got some shit to figure out because their ass is either too old or not exciting enough to watch to go to the XFL. We've got a few different tiers there. We'll have some fun with this. You want to go ahead and start us off here?
Yeah, who do we got first guy? We'll work on this. We're building this together, right? So JB and I, we made our own list, but we're gonna take our list, combine them together for you right now, and build this out. So Cooper Rush.
Yes, sir.
Cooper Rush, man, he had a solid season, right? Nobody knew who the hell this guy was, for one. Okay? When week 1 hit, you didn't know who the fuck Cooper Rush was, right? No idea. He gets a bunch of tick and actually looked okay, right? He looked okay. He didn't do anything that was stellar. He was a solid game manager at the time with a star-studded roster, okay? Cooper Rush, for me, I've got him down in what bad outing from selling insurance, because to me, he still is a guy that carries literally no draft capital. They didn't invest in him. And as soon as shit hits the fan for him, he's got to find a new career. It's simple as that.
Oh, man.
You want to take the next?
Yeah, we got Sam Darnold here, man. Man, was this guy scouted high and had a lot of, I don't want to say crazy draft capital coming in, but I think a lot of folks thought he was going to have a better career than he's had so far.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say he's one bad outing away from selling insurance because there's still a lot of interest in him, right?
Let me add something real quick.
Yeah.
He is, I don't know if you knew this, the youngest NFL starting quarterback ever.
That's pretty interesting.
Isn't it?
Pretty interesting. Yeah.
Does that change your thoughts on him?
No, it
Absolutely not.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
He is who he thought he was.
I think he's in a good place right now to help potentially I don't want to say resurrect his career because I don't think he'll ever be a starter again unless injuries happen.
Yeah.
But I do have him. He hands the ball off well, right?
Yeah.
He hands the ball off well. He could potentially jump to Mr. Average. I think that's his ceiling right now is Mr. Average. I don't think he'll ever get above that, but he definitely hands the ball off well. Yeah.
Awesome. Next guy is
it's a good one.
This is a fun one here. Okay, for me, Justin Fields. Again, as much as I've got stock in him, I'm not all in. Okay, and I know in dynasty football and fantasy football leagues, this guy is going freaking top 5, right? Top 10. Not in this list, right? This is how they're going to be this season with their new offense. I've got him in the star category. Okay. Reason why is there's a lot of potential there. Now, when we go to sort him out, he's going to be on the lower end of the star category. He's going to be near half a star. But he has shown the ability to be arguably one of the best athletes in the NFL, which always carries the potential to become a guy like Lamar Jackson, an MVP caliber type of... As much as I'm rambling, I'm watching JB here, man. He's fucking falling out of his chair.
This man.
But listen,
holy shit.
He's gonna be on the bottom edge of star for me. Okay.
Are we doing a fantasy football tier list or actual football tier list?
No, because listen, in his third season, he could make a jump, and a lot of guys have made a jump in their third season. So. It's not out of question with his new offense that he looks pretty darn good. So I'm going to take Justin Fields low end of star.
This guy just shook the list up on the third player. Holy shit! And I got Jalen Hurts next. So
let's go. Put him underneath Justin Fields. Fuck you.
Discredit everything. So for me, Jalen Hurts, man.
It's a toughie.
Last year was an amazing year. I mean, this dude was our fantasy quarterback. I don't want to say. I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, I called it. But we knew who we wanted last year in fantasy football from the get-go. We're waiting until the 6th round to take Jalen Hurts. Like, Jalen Hurts is our guy. Dude, like, I don't know what happened, man. He got big in the offseason last year. Just a lot of talk about how great he's been at camp and just showing up, doing all this extra shit. And he balled out. He had a great season. The only knock to him is it was one season. So for me, he's a superstar. Absolutely, he's a superstar. Okay. He's not Himothy, though, right? Because we know some guys that are him, and they've been doing it consistently. So I don't want to put somebody in that category after just having one solid season. We got to do it back to back and continue it. So for me, he's a superstar quarterback right now. Absolutely.
100%. I'd agree with that. What do we got next? Is that Geno?
We got Geno Smith.
Damn. Okay.
And you just put Justin Fields in the star category, so this will be interesting.
Geno Smith. Geno Smith is half a star, and I will tell you why. In the same breath that you just talked about Jalen Hurts being superstar and it's only been 1 year, fellas, it's been 1 year for Geno Smith. We've seen what he looked like on the Jets. He had a ton of hype around him coming out of West Virginia. One of the greatest college volume passes of all time, but it took 10 years to translate to the NFL. He could hit the shitter tomorrow and be another backup quarterback for the rest of his career, and it wouldn't shock me. He's half a star. There's still a lot of potential. They invested in him, right? They signed an extension with him, and they brought in JSN. They've got DK. They got Lockett. They've got freaking Kenneth Walker. They drafted Charbonnet. Ton of talent around him. He should produce, but he's not a star quarterback in the NFL. Don't give me that. Next.
I'll take it. It's you've been in the league for a while, and you just had your best season. So I get it. I get it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, we got Mr. Jones. Mac Jones, man, he came out of that Alabama quarterback class, right? Probably the worst one out of all of them. No, not probably. He is. Sad because this dude was a great college, but with that,
there was a ton of hype around him as a rookie. Isn't it crazy, like the fall off of Mac Jones?
Yeah, and you know what? He still has time to prove himself.
Yeah,
he's only a few years in. He could develop. It's fine. But for me, I got him at Mr. Average. I think that's fair. I don't really need to explain why he's Mr. Average. He just doesn't do anything great, but he's not terrible at a lot of things. He's average, right? He's very average. So I'm not going to go into further explanation of that. But you got Ryan Tannehill next.
Tanny. I will put Tanny ahead of Mac Jones and Mr. Average. Tannehill has done Mr. Average for years. So Mac Jones was just benched this past season. Mac Jones, he's going to have an interesting camp. Like Bailey Zappi, he looked pretty solid last year in place of him. So they're going to be duking it out, in my opinion. Give me Tannehill right before Mackey.
Yeah. All right, I got Hendon Hooker next. I mean, he's going to go into that rookie tier, right? And for me, he's got to go behind someone that's been in the NFL, that's playing the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Especially come off the ACL tear, so that's a pretty easy one. Josh Allen's next.
Josh Allen. So we all know Josh Allen has been really productive past 4 years. To me, he falls in Himothy. And I will tell you why. We all know our Lord and Savior, Patrick Mahomes. He is him. Okay. But he's doing it with a ton of talent and arguably the greatest coach of all time in Andy Reid. Josh Allen has been hyper productive for the past 4 years. Yeah, he's had some good offensive coaches, but not tons of talent. I want to get this right with everybody. Yes, Stephon Diggs is great. Gabe Davis is just average. Let's keep it a buck. He had literally mediocre draft stock, not a ton of talent outside of Gabe Davis, honestly. Been a lot of rotational guys. You guys are excited about Cole Beasley playing in the slot? Dude, he's already out of the league. Okay. The running back, Singletary, he's out. Okay. You're hyped about James Cook? He's not even a 3-down back. So Josh Allen's doing a lot with, in my opinion, a little. Next
is Jimmy Garoppolo. You know, Jimmy Garoppolo, I will say this about Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he gets more hate than he deserves. I think he's a phenomenal NFL quarterback. I mean, if you look at his resume, it's pretty solid. He's had some bad luck, right? He's had some bad luck. He took his team to a Super Bowl. He had to play fucking Mahomes, right? That's a tough one. He's been to the NFC Championship games. Last year, man, it's crazy because he came off a season where he was playing pretty good football, got benched for Trey Lance. Lance gets hurt. He comes in. He plays well. And then unfortunately he gets hurt too, right? And at the same time, the whole trade thing was going on. They restructured his contract. I mean, man, it's crazy. So for me, I'm gonna throw him in half a star, just because of his resume. At the end of the day, it's a solid one.
Yeah.
And right now, because we do have to rank these guys within their tiers, I am gonna put him behind Geno Smith. Just because Geno's a little bit younger, he's in a better situation. I think he's going to have a more productive season than Garoppolo will with the Raiders. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, all he's really got is Devontae Adams, and it's a really tough
Josh
division.
Jacobs. That's about it. I mean,
it's a tough division to play in, too. So I think he's half a star, man. You could make an argument for the star category. I believe you could based on his resume. But right now, where he's at in his career and just the spot he's landed in, I think half a star is perfect. Because when I look at guys like Ryan Tannehill and Mac Jones, Garoppolo's above those guys easily.
Okay. Is that Jordan Love?
It is Mr. Love himself.
This is a tough one, right? This is a really tough one. We don't know about Jordan Love. And if you think you do, you're full of shit. Because the Packers don't even know about fucking Jordan Love. The Packers have literally said, don't expect too much out of him. We're not sure. Okay? I'm putting Jordan Love at the bottom of Mr. Average. He carries a ton of draft stock. He's got a nice... Pick. Yeah, he's got a nice offense around him. Good O-line, great backs. They drafted another wide receiver. I like Christian Watson. I'm excited about that offense just to see what he is, right? I don't think he's just a guy that can hand it off. Too much draft stock. Bottom of Mr. Average, though.
I don't know who this guy is.
Jaren Hall.
You go ahead and put this guy. I have no clue who this fucking guy is.
You're not too far from where he's going. We'll see that motherfucker in the XFL in a couple weeks.
Oh, my God. Is that Colt McCoy? Is that Colt McCoy?
It's either Colt McCoy or the skeleton of Colt McCoy. He looks like shit.
Is that Colt McCoy?
It is.
Dude.
Christ. He will get a couple games here early on.
I'm not even explaining it. I'm just putting it.
What tier? Just so our listeners can hear.
Selling insurance because he's too old to be in the XFL.
Yeah, see, I don't even know if he's going to be selling insurance, though. Like, what does he do after this? Does he get into broadcasting? He's a good-looking guy.
Let's go to the next. Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. Oh, boy. Andy Dalton. Man, does he look good handing the ball off. That's where we're going to place him. We're going to place him behind Sam Darnold. Because Andy Dalton did get a bunch of tick last year. He looked serviceable. Okay? Yeah. And we don't even know if Hendon Hooker can be serviceable yet. Yeah. So that's where he's at.
All right. This is actually going to be an interesting one right here. So I got Bryce Young, right? And we're in this hands the ball off well rookie tier.
Where do you want to go with this? Where do you want to go?
You just had his teammate, right? Andy Dalton, right?
Yeah.
This guy just went number 1 overall. Okay. So they gave up a lot to get him.
Yeah.
Right. He's clearly, I mean, this Andy Dalton's been in this situation before, right? He was the Bears quarterback when they drafted Justin Fields, right? Guy didn't make the season. Didn't last the season, right?
Didn't last a couple weeks, right?
So for me, you have to put him ahead of Andy Dalton on this tier list, even though he has 0 NFL experience, right?
And that's fine.
I'm going to go a step further, though. He's ahead of Darnold.
Ooh.
For the simple fact that he's a starting quarterback in this league, and Sam Darnold is not.
Sounds good. So we're going to keep, for guys that are watching, ladies and gentlemen, we got a couple lady viewers out here, too. I see you guys. In that tier, we're going to keep our rookies in it, but we will rank them amongst those other vets, right? Yeah. Next guy up.
Is that Jacoby?
Is that Brissett. Oh, baby. He's been hanging on by a thread, right? He had a couple serviceable outings last year for Cleveland. I'm going to put him on top of that one bad outing from selling insurance row.
Number 1 spot.
Yep, he'll be in the number 1 spot for me.
Okay.
Reason being, he's been more consistent, has had a solid NFL career.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So I got Daniel Jones. Just got a solid contract. Coming off a season, taking the Giants to the playoffs. I don't think anybody thought that was going to happen. They were in a lot of games.
A lot of games.
Year, man. They're in a lot of games. I don't really, from just memory, I don't think there are many blowouts that they were in. So, he had a solid season last year. It's nice that he can move out outside the pocket too and make some plays with his legs. Unfortunately for us last year in fantasy, we hated that because he took a lot of opportunities away from Saquon. But he's their guy. They paid him. You got Justin Fields in that star category. If you have him there, Daniel Jones deserves to be there as well and ahead of Justin Fields at the end of the day because he can make plays with his arm and his legs. Yeah.
I have them neck and neck, 100% on my list. So, who's the next guy? Is that Mariota? Who the hell is that? I can't see. Oh. Take that guy. Listen, we got a guy in here. We have no clue who the fuck this prospect is.
Hold on.
If I don't,
hold on. We're doing a pivot.
Okay, so for our listeners, JB right now he's creating his own tier, and he's labeling it.
Oh nope, sorry, I just screwed that up. What was this one? XFL.
Yeah.
XFL.
Yep.
Right. And then we gotta do.
What's this new tier you're going with here? What does that shit say?
It says future gym teacher. He's going right in there, man.
He's gonna teach a hell of a PE class, right? When he rolls out the footballs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so no name goes there. Let me get another one here.
You got Lamar.
Oh, I got Lamar. Okay. Lamar is a superstar. Lamar will be behind Jalen Hurts, though. Okay, I think we're still skeptical of Lamar's passing ability, his inaccuracy at times, where we really can't say the same about Jalen Hurts anymore. He looked pretty darn good. Lamar's going to have a little more talent this year. He's well deserving of being a superstar, 100%.
Sweet. All right, I got the Cole man himself, Joe Burr.
Ooh.
All right, so
Joey Burr.
For me, I really only think there's probably 3 guys that deserve to be in this tier, and he's one of them. He deserves to be in the Himothy tier right there alongside, Josh Allen. Now, the interesting thing is where is he ranked? Is he behind? Is he in front? Joe Burr, for as young as he is, been to a Super Bowl. He's beaten Mahomes when it counts, right? Mahomes when it counts. Could have beaten him this year too, or this past year. Easily could have beaten him. Can't say the same about Josh Allen though. So for me, I think that's why I put him ahead of Josh Allen at the end of the day. Joe Burrow is phenomenal at holding on to the ball as well. Doesn't turn it over as much as Josh Allen at the end of the day. And he's got a solid core around him too to help propel him even more. So I think he deserves to be slightly ahead of Josh Allen at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's like, I was having a talk with JB off the cast about that top tier, and it's like, though Josh Allen is doing a lot without, what Joe Burr has on his offense, you can't really knock the guy, right? That's the situation he's in. I can't knock him. I like it. Who do we got next? Is that CJ Stroud?
Yes, sir.
CJ. Yeah. Huge draft capital. Number 2 pick. And any given year, he'd go number 1 if Bryce Young didn't exist. So I'm slapping him right behind Bryce Young in that tier. Well deserving of that spot. Looked incredible towards the end of the year at Ohio State. Yeah. Bad situation, though, I will say. But his production is going to be much better than anybody else following him in that tier right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Tua. I got Tua. And I will say I think this is a lot harder,
tough one
than it appears to be. Because we have a guy like Daniel Jones and Justin Fields in the star category and Geno and Garoppolo in the half a star. So it's like, really, where does he land at the end of the day? And I think just because of the fact that Fields and Jones are in that star, he deserves to be in there as well.
Yep.
It's just a question of where does he rank?
So
it's kind of a similar situation to Jalen Hurts. You know, has it been consistent? Was it a 1-year thing, right? So for me, at the end of the day, I have a hard time putting him ahead of Daniel Jones, just because I see what Daniel Jones does without guys like Tyreek Hill and Waddle. You know, you wonder how good Tua actually is. Is he that good because of he can actually put the ball where it needs to be, or does he have guys that can go get it at the end of the day? But I will say this. He throws better than Fields, so I think he splits the two and goes right in between them. Because if I put Daniel Jones on the Dolphins, I think that's a better fit than if Tua's on the Dolphins. I will say that.
I like that.
If I flip Justin Fields and Tua, I don't know, because we haven't seen the arm from Justin Fields enough yet. So for me, he goes right in between the two. He's a star in this league.
Yeah, sure. I agree. I had him in that same tier. Who do we got next? Is that Purdy?
Purdy.
Oh, this is a tough one. Because we're talking about the last pick in the draft. 0 draft capital. Came in last year. Like you said, almost had that Nick Foles effect. Looked really solid. Really strong. Tons of talent around him last season. Right? McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle. Holy shit, they got weapons. A great O-line, a fantastic defense. Literally perfect situation. I got to put him at the top of Mr. Average, though. I think with this season coming up, though the locker room wants him to be the guy, he's still going to have to battle it out with Trey Lance. They give up their future to get Trey Lance. So in terms of production, I think he's going to fall right there.
That's fair. He had a better season than all those guys last year, so it makes sense. Why the fuck is this guy on this list? He's not even a quarterback, so I'm just gonna put him. I'm gonna put him right behind.
Let the listeners know that is that fucking Taysom Hill.
Yeah. I'm gonna put him behind Colt McCoy at one bad outing from selling insurance. Yeah.
Man, they paid him the bag. To be that super.
You know what? I'll swap these two. I'll put him ahead of Colt McCoy. How about that?
Alrighty. So you'll take the Wildcat quarterback over Colt McCoy.
Yeah. This guy's career has been horrible.
Terrible. Who's next? Is that Drew Lock? Yeah. Seahawks. Drew Lock. Oh, goodness gracious.
Why is Mac Jones? This wasn't Mac Jones. I thought this was Mac Jones.
Oh, that's Zappy. Swap Mac Jones and Zappy real quick.
All right.
Can you?
Yeah. I didn't even look. I glanced. I thought it was Mac Jones.
White guy, New England Patriots. Throw him in. Yeah. Drew Lock is after Colt McCoy. One bad outing away from selling insurance and flexing his couple Rolex watches he earned in the NFL. That's about it.
Sweet. I am so happy that I got this guy. I'm so happy that I got
Jesus Christ.
Mr. Elite. So what? 2 years ago, we were having a conversation about Stafford, and your dad, everybody around you was like,
Super Bowl season, are we talking? Was this Super Bowl season?
Super Bowl season. You know, he's elite. And I'm like, man, I just don't see it. Like, he went to the playoff once prior to this, lost. He had arguably the best wide receiver in NFL. Well, I don't want to say best, but the most talented wide receiver in NFL history.
Most freakish? Is he the freakish?
And did absolutely nothing. So I wasn't on the whole elite, the elite wagon, so to speak. You know, for me, I think he's done. I don't see how he's going to ever come back and have a successful career. There were talks about the Rams trading into the first round to go get a quarterback. Like, he came in, he did his job, he won them a Super Bowl like they want him to do. I think he's done. I don't want to put him in the star tier because there's no excitement around Matt Stafford at the end of the day. There's zero excitement. You've got guys like Geno Smith that had a stellar year last year and the half a star.
1 year.
So, and Stafford, for me, I think he's a half a star player. This will probably get a lot of heat. But I've never liked the hype around Matt Stafford.
This is getting personal.
This is personal. So for me,
I don't like him.
I think he splits Garoppolo and Stafford. Christ. Because at the end of the day, if Garoppolo was in the situation Stafford was in, I don't want to say we would have had a Super Bowl, but stats-wise, it would have been very similar results. And I don't think he's better than Geno Smith right now, man.
Situationally, I would agree, Geno. You're right. That's a good call.
I think he falls right behind because you put Geno here in half a star. I think he's somewhere right around the same talent level right now as Geno Smith. And just based on last year, I mean, he didn't really play much because he was hurt. He's got to go behind Geno Smith. So I'm going to catch some heat for that one, but it is what it is. You got to make it spicy.
I actually like that spot. As much as I'm giving you shit here on air, it's like Geno Smith's situation is fantastic. I don't think people realize. If you guys are in those redraft fantasy football leagues every year, listen, Geno Smith, DK, Lockett, JSN, Noah Fant, Kenny Walk, that's a hell of a situation. I like it. I actually like that spot. Who's next? Bailey Zappi? Is that him?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bailey Zappi. I got him right behind Sam Darnold. He looks really good handing the ball off. He's had a couple appearances where he's looked good, just like Sam Darnold, but he hasn't done it as long. He could literally be a flash in the pan and never see the field again. He could be a starting quarterback in the NFL if he wins that job in New England, if they allow. So that's where he falls for me.
All right, I got Mr. Pickett. For me, I think Mr. Pickett, he definitely falls in the Mr. Average tier, right? I don't think he's done enough to jump into half a star, and he definitely does. He does more than just hand the ball off well, right?
Yeah.
Where does he land? You've got some names in there: Love, Mac Jones, Tannehill, Purdy. For me, I think he splits Mac Jones and Love just based off of experience. His season last year, you can't discredit what Purdy did. You can't discredit what Tannehill's been able to do. And then you also can't discredit Mac Jones because he's a good ball player. He'll go out there and put up some good numbers. So I think for me, Pickett lands right in between the two. He's an average guy, He could have a more successful career. We just don't know yet. But for me, he's average.
Mr. Average. Alrighty. Who's that? Jesus himself?
Yes.
All right, Trevor Lawrence. Superstar. I think Trevor Lawrence does take a step this next season and becomes a top 5 NFL quarterback. Okay? Where does he fall? Right behind Jalen Hurts.
Ooh, so he splits these two. I do like that. that.
I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence as my starting quarterback than Lamar, but he's not. But he's not Jalen Hurts. He's not Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, if he comes out and does what he did last year, again, we could be talking MVP if he stays healthy, guys.
What's this? Mike White?
Yeah.
So I'm also going to put him in the Mr. Average tier. He played pretty well last year. I don't want to say he just hands the ball off well, but I'm going to put him at the end. He played very well, man. And the hype around him when he started balling, the players in the locker room, man, they made those like T-shirts or whatever.
Oh yeah, they're all in
for him. So I think he squeezed his way up into Mr. Average. He's backing up Tua this year. So yeah, for me, he's average. He's definitely a step above a guy like Sam Darnold or Andy Dalton.
Okay, Andy Dalton. My bad. Sam Howell?
Yeah.
Okay, Sam Howell will be. Unfortunately, he's gonna fall in the hands the ball off well rookies tier for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I kind of still look at him as a rookie, even though he got a little bit of tick last year. But he hasn't shown the ability to be a consistent average quarterback. Where does he fall in this tier? He's gonna fall after Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton has shown the ability to be more serviceable than Sam Howell.
Fair enough.
Simple as that.
Teddy B, the Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson. Man, this guy's had a rough NFL career, bouncing around team after team, can't hold a consistent job. He backed up Breeze pretty well, came in after Breeze and did a pretty nice job. But for me, I think this guy's on his way out, man. He probably, for me, he's going to split Rush and Hill at the end of the day. One bad outing from selling insurance. This guy's falling off the map for me.
I would agree 100%. That's a great spot. Great spot. Is that Davis Mills? Who is that? Davis Mills. I am a lot higher on Davis Mills than a lot of people. I love what I see from him. I really do. But he hasn't shown the ability to be able to do it long term. For me, Davis Mills is right behind CJ Stroud. Okay, so he's going to be in your hands the ball off well / rookies.
Can't put him ahead of the guy he's going to take, you know what I mean? That makes sense.
Yeah, yep. I can't put him ahead of any of those rookies, of course. But he's absolutely looking better than Sam Darnold, in my opinion.
So who do we got next? We got why am I blanking on his name right now?
Oh, Minshew.
Gardner Minshew.
Minshew mania.
Gardner Minshew, man. He was kind of like another Nick Foles style quarterback, right? For me, he came in though last year when Jalen Hurts was out, and he did play well. And I did just put Mike White in Mr. Average. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put him just right in front of Mike White.
Okay.
I think that he can still come in when needed and perform. So I'd say he's Mr. Average. He could be a starter in the NFL. He could. For a team that, you know, is probably struggling in the middle of a rebuild, whatever. I mean, you're looking at Andy Dalton as the starting quarterback in the Panthers. Not anymore, obviously. It's Bryce Young. But before that, it was Andy Dalton, right? I would take Minshew over Dalton every day of the week.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. He's actually on the Colts now, and they're looking to start him early on and warming up AR-15. So
fair enough. Next
guy, who was that? Oh, Matt Ryan. Oh my God, Matty Ice.
Ball from Grace.
Matty Ice is a prime hand the ball off guy. I'll slap him right ahead of Dalton. I'd rather roll with Matty Ice for a season than Andy Dalton at this point in their careers.
There you go. All right. I got Mr. Levis. Man. Feel bad for this dude. Showed up to the draft. Didn't get drafted. Until the next day. So obviously he's going to fall in that rookie tier. Where does he land, though? Man, that's a great question. There's not a whole lot of film on this dude. Situation-wise, I think he's in a pretty good situation. For me, though, I think he splits Darnold and Zappy. I think that's probably a good landing spot. I don't want to say he's better than a guy like Sam Darnold, but I certainly think that he could come in and and contribute a little bit more than Bailey Zappi did. It was kind of like that one-hit wonder. He had like one solid game, and that was it. I think Levis could be a little bit more consistent than that. But at the same time, Sam Darnold, man, he's a vet. He's been here. He's done it. So I think that's where you place him.
Sounds good. Prescott?
Yes, sir. This will be interesting. I like this one.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one because at times Dak Prescott looks fantastic. 400-yard games.
Yeah.
But at times this guy didn't even play a full season. He led the NFL in picks. That scares the daylights out of me. But I'll tell you what, he's shown the ability to be a better passer than Justin Fields. I'm not taking him over Tua or Daniel Jones. He's fitting in right behind Tua there in the star category.
Wow.
He's got some nice weapons around him. Brandon Cooks coming to the Cowboys is very underrated. Very underrated. All that kid does is put up numbers.
Interesting. I agree with the placement of star. For me, I probably would have put him right in front of Daniel Jones, though. He would have been leading the pack, but I agree with the star placement for sure. All right, Mr. What was the saying last year? Let's ride. Let's ride.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Let's ride. Mr. Let's Ride himself.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Man, he's had a good career. Was it coaching, though? Was it coaching? That's the question.
Here's the thing. He's getting another great coach this year.
He is. But he came in last year to a situation with some solid receivers, man. Absolutely solid. And had the worst season of his career. What? Probably. Maybe other than rookie year. I don't know. I think he's fallen from grace a little bit last year. We'll see what Sean Payton does. But right now, I think he's a half a star. But based on career, I will put him ahead of Geno Smith.
That's respect.
I would rather, and it's crazy, I would rather have Justin Fields than Russell Wilson right now.
I have those two neck and neck. That's a tough call.
It seems like it's shaping up that Justin Fields is probably going to be the tail end of our star tier then. That may work out. I mean, you just missed the next one or whatever. But for me, I think right now, man, he's half a star, dude. For the weapons he had, that's inexcusable for how bad of a season he had.
That was rough. Is that Matt Corral, Panthers?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna see him playing for the DC Defenders here very soon. He's in the XFL. He's in the XFL. In terms of tier, I'm gonna put him ahead of Hall there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put him ahead of Hall.
All right, I got another. Well, I guess he's a rookie. Can I put him in the XFL tier though?
Oh, you absolutely can.
Okay.
You absolutely. You can't go up. You can only go down.
He's going in the XFL tier, right ahead of just. Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of hype around that one, isn't there?
Yeah, but I think
so
XFL. He's not bad.
Dugan might be the when it does happen, he'll be the most hyped XFL signing ever. So that'll be cool. That'll be cool. Is this Kyler?
Yep.
Okay, so Kyler, I'm on the Kyler Murray train. I just told you guys, I think he is a fringe top 10 guy. I got him ahead of Tua, ahead of Danny Jones in star. You're pulling up stats. He's pulling up stats.
No. Sorry, I was doing something else.
Oh, you good?
You put him star where?
He's number one in star.
Number one in star.
Yeah. When he comes back with that wide receiver room again, it's a problem. It is a problem. He puts up numbers.
No, I agree. I mean, he could be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He could be.
He really could.
He could. He's got the talent to do it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how he shows up to training camp. What's this guy's Malik?
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis
Talks about him getting traded here.
Yeah, it's crazy because they drafted him last year.
Yeah,
third
round.
A little bit, and now they go and get another quarterback. So for me, I mean, he's right in that XFL tier. I think he just goes. He's top spot just based off of being in the NFL already. That guy's. He ain't gonna make it.
That's a good call. AR-15. AR-15. He obviously is falling in our rookie tier. Again, this is based off next season here. Really tough. Does he have a better year than Stroud? I don't know if AR-15 is going to come out of the gate starting. But when he does, nope, he's the third best in that rookie tier right now. So put him behind CJ Stroud. I got to see more consistency out of his game. I think he threw 58% completion rate in college. That's a no bueno.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Stetson Bennett himself. What's this guy, 26, 27?
I think he's 34.
34? All right. He'll be the best gym teacher out of the two that are probably there. Why this? I mean, this guy, he can play football, right? And I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that.
Well, no shit, he can play football.
He's won two national championships, but man, has he had some phenomenal pieces around him. So I don't really know how good he is. I think he's too old. He's kind of like what was that dude that came in? Whedon? Didn't he come in?
Brandon Whedon,
6 or 27, was drafted by the Browns or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Similar.
He's too old, man. He won't be able to go to the XFL. He'll be too old. They're looking for younger guys. He won't sell insurance because this guy's a fucking idiot. I don't know if you ever heard him talk.
Is it?
He'll be a gym teacher.
I see him all the time working at Raising Cane's. So is that career outlook?
Do we need a new tier?
Raising Cane's guy? That's funny as hell.
Drive-through window guy.
Dude, he's done it like every year up to that title. It's funny. Trey Lance. Okay, Trey Lance. This is really tough. Trey Lance is going to fall for me right now. They gave up their future to get him. He's got a lot of intangibles that are, super, super needed in the NFL. Making plays with your legs, the physical attributes, his frame. To me, he's going to fall in Mr. Average, though, because we haven't seen it done. And where does he fall in that tier? Well, he's behind Jimmy G. And oh no, my bad. I'm going off mine. So he is in Mr. Average, but now we got to make behind Tannehill. He's behind Tannehill.
Worse than Brock Purdy, huh?
He's behind Tannehill ahead of Mac Jones because Mac Jones was already benched.
Interesting.
And Trey Lance hasn't been benched yet.
He hasn't. And it's interesting because we don't know I don't think we know who the starter is in San Fran right now.
No, we have no idea.
It's a mess. They're talking about trading Trey Lance on draft night. So
yeah,
you know what? I would say based off the fact that there were talks about him being traded and not Brock Purdy, I would put him behind Brock Purdy for that.
Yeah.
Fact. So, good call there. Good call. All right, we got Mr. I'm gonna give this guy's life hell. Little does he know that guy was Aaron Rodgers. Man, where does this piece of shit fall? This guy
I got him low.
This guy lost us our fantasy league this year.
Yeah, that's why I got him really low. I can't even look at his face.
Man,
he's smiling.
Yeah,
is he smiling?
Yeah, this piece of shit's smiling. For me, gym teacher, it ain't gonna happen. All right, this guy looks like an accountant. Like he should be an accountant or something.
Yep.
XFL, they'd spit this kid out.
Yep.
I think he's too prissy to play in that kind of a league. I'm too good for that. Whatever. So for me, he's got to be selling insurance.
Yeah.
As far as where I put him, I'll split Teddy B and Hill and throw him right in between them right there.
You throw him ahead of the Wildcat quarterback. Nice.
Throw him ahead of the Wildcat quarterback. This guy is such a piece of shit. I can't believe that. I can't believe this guy. Some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, man.
He really is.
What a piece of shit.
It really is. Who's next? Is that J-Mo? Crab legs? Fucking crab legs, Winston. You love to see it. Crab legs is actually not that bad of a quarterback. Early last year, he looked decent. I'm slapping him ahead of Brissett. I'll take him over Brissett. Yep. He's one bad start away from stealing more crab legs. Let's keep it a buck.
New tier. All right. Baker Mayfield, man. Another guy I fucking hate. I gotta see where I had him on my original list because I'm like second guessing myself right now.
I will tell you, I had him and hands the ball off well.
I did as well. And I did have him ahead of Sam Darnold. So that's where I'm going to put him. I'm going to put him right between Darnold and Mills.
Yeah, I had him neck and neck.
I think
you're right.
I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm. We're here. Here we go.
We're here. Oh,
man. He deserves the Halo theme song. Throw him at the top of Himothy. He is on track to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Let's just put it that way. No brainer.
Accolades wise or just stats?
Does it matter?
Do you think he'll ever get 7 like Brady?
I think even
that football's changed too much where that can't happen ever again.
I can't. Yeah, it's not like the NBA. Like the titles don't matter that much to me.
Okay,
he's that good.
Yeah,
especially now. Like
I agree.
We were nervous with Tyreek Hill leaving. We're like, oh shit, Tyreek Hill's leaving.
I agree. I think the fact that I think the big difference between the NFL and NBA, like why I don't think titles matter as much, is because you have control in the NBA on both sides because you play both sides. Here you don't, right? Your defense will just have the worst day of their life, and you could ball out and you still lose. So
100%.
I think that's a good call.
Yep.
All right, we got Justin Herbert. This guy, man, he's played pretty well.
Broke the rookie records for passing, right?
He's got weapons around him now. They just got Quentin
Q Johnston. Yeah.
I think he belongs right up there in that superstar tier. This guy could be a top 3 quarterback in the next couple years. It's possible. He's got
it really is.
For me, he belongs in that superstar tier. Question is where? Where? And I'm gonna have
that's a hell of a tier already.
I'm gonna have to slot him.
Yeah. Right you're doing it right.
Between these two guys, for the simple fact that Trevor Lawrence has won a playoff, or he did win a playoff game, right? Or no? Did he win it?
I'm forgetting.
I don't.
So you got them like neck and neck. I'm with you on that.
You know what? Let me flip that. I don't think he did. Did he win the playoff game this year, Lawrence? I don't think he did.
I'm forgetting. What was that?
Did he win that playoff game this year? I don't know why I'm like having a brain fart on that one. They had a first round home playoff game.
They won. They beat the Chargers.
Yep.
That was the comeback game. Yep. That was the big comeback game.
So for me,
you give them the nod off the game? Damn. You give him the nod based off that game?
I was trying to remember that game because I know they lost in the second round, but
yeah, that was that huge comeback.
Off the top of my head, but
how did we forget that one? That massive comeback.
That's why I have Lawrence ahead of Herbert at the end of the day, and truthfully, man, I just don't like Lamar Jackson that much. I don't see how you win with his style.
It's tough.
It's not sustainable. It's not a sustainable style of play. The only reason Jalen Hurts is able to do it well, man, he's just that dude's a big body. I know Lamar's on paper a little bit heavier and taller, but just overall, as far as taking a beating, Hurts can take a beating. Lamar just can't.
Yeah, he's been.
You saw last year too with Hurts. He got hurt a couple games. He's out a couple games. But a Herbert, yeah, he belongs right in that superstar tier, man. That guy, he's something special.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely.
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, what was that? Joe Buck? Troy Aikman? Was that an intro for him? Aaron Rodgers. Ooh, baby. This might get some flack. He's still deserving, guys. It's still Aaron Rodgers. You're giving him Garrett Wilson, Lazard, Mecole Hardman, Breece Hall, a lot of talent around him. He's a superstar for me. He is a superstar for me. Where does he fall in the superstar tier? He's above Lamar Jackson. You heard it here. He is above Lamar Jackson, behind Herbert. And I would actually say there's even like a little bit of a drop-off after that Herbert slot, right?
I agree with that. All right.
Last few here.
Jared Goff, man, he had a hell of a year last year. This is a guy that took his team to the Super Bowl and lost and was traded because of it. Pretty fucked up. But this guy had a pretty stellar year last year. He was able to do more with the Lions than Matt Stafford ever was able to do. For me, I think the Lions won that trade at the end of the day, long-term wise. The Rams got a Super Bowl out of it, but man, it cost them a whole lot. I don't think McVay will be there for a rebuild. He'll be out. It was all to go in and win a Super Bowl. Jared Goff, to me, he's a star, man. This guy can sling them with the rest of them. He's going to have another solid year this year. I think he'll improve. It's just a matter of where does he fall in that tier. Man, you shook this list up by putting Prescott where he's at. For me, I think Goff splits Daniel Jones and Tua.
Whoa!
I think Jared Goff splits Daniel Jones and Tua.
Okay. This is projected for next season. So
yes, I think Daniel Jones splits those two guys. Or not Daniel Jones. Jared Goff splits those two guys, man. Like I said, he had a hell of a year last year. He can throw the ball. He's leading a team that has an awful defense. He led a team that had an awful defense last year. I might even say historically awful defense last year.
Give up a ton.
They were one game from making the playoffs. One game.
Yep.
So he did a lot with a shit defense, something that Matt Stafford never was able to do. So for me, he's a star, man. I would absolutely take him over Justin Fields. Dak Prescott's turnovers, Tua's concussion likelihood. This guy's a walking concussion. But I'm not taking him over Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones makes too many plays with his legs.
Yeah, I like that. Good defense there. Good defense there. Take that gym teacher and throw him down there real quick for me. I don't know who this guy is, but throw him back down there. You know what? That guy in the black polo, man, he's creeped me out a little bit. Throw him right there. Yep. I wouldn't want that guy to be my gym teacher, though. That last guy? No. Is this Cousins?
Yes, this is Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins, man. The ultimate game manager. I love Kirk Cousins. I'm probably higher on Kirk Cousins than a lot of people, so I'm going to throw him.
I am too. No. Oh, you're doing this pick? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing this pick. Kirk Cousins, he's... To me, I'm taking him over Geno, but I'm not taking him over Russ. I can't take him over Russ. I'd rather roll with Russ going into the season. I think Russ has a bounce back year, actually. I think with Sutton and Judy, and they drafted Marvin Mims. They've got that Dulcich at tight end. They get back their second round running back from last year, Javonte Williams. I like the talent around Russ. I think he bounces back. We'll see how Kirk Cousins looks. We know what he does on Sundays. In the prime time, it gets scary.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Mariota.
He's got gray hair.
Marcus Mariota. Man.
So he's the Eagles' backup.
I'm going to take Mariota, and I'm going to slot him between Mills and Mayfield. Yeah, that's just where I'm going to put him. I'm not going to explain much.
Not a bad spot. Just leave his ass there.
Yeah.
All right, we end on a couple tough ones here. So this is Desmond Ridder. Got some playing time last year at the end of the season. Hasn't proved a lot, though. He really hasn't. Was kind of a shitty roster last season. To me, I'll be slapping him right behind Jordan Love. Very similar situation. I actually had him lower on my tier list, but in thinking about it, they're in the same spot. We haven't seen what they have to prove in those starts.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of draft capital.
Okay. Fair enough. This one's pretty easy for me. He's going to go half a star. He's going to go right behind Garoppolo. They're basically the same guy, but Garoppolo has just got more accolades. They booted Carr out to bring Garoppolo in. So I think that's pretty fair.
That's a good defense there, too. I like that. So this is our official tier list. How do you think we did? Drop the comments below. We'll post this to socials. Come chop it up. I know you're gonna get a lot of shit for your what's it called take. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. You better be ready to defend that shit.
I like Jared.
But I mean, again, these are projections based on what we think.
You can't put him ahead of. You can't put him behind Justin Fields, man. You can't.
No, you can't.
He's the most complete quarterback in the NFC North right now. Jared Goff is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is it? It's him or Cousins. You have Cousins as half a star. You just rated him.
I know. I think they're very close. Very close. But I like Fields' upside next season. I do. So
I do too.
Let us know how.
You got to see the arm. We got to see the arm.
Yeah. We got to wrap this up here. I know we got to get out of here. So, hey, thanks for joining us. Come chop it up with us next time. We'll see you guys next week. Any words of wisdom for these jabronis?
Man, you can't put me on the spot there. KD ain't him. He ain't him.
KD is not him.
I think we're gonna see the tides turn in this Lakers Warriors series. I think that AD being a pussy is going to be exploited by Draymond Green. This man is going to do everything he can to just call this guy a bitch every single possession up and down the floor. This guy left the court on a wheelchair getting... Dude, that's almost as bad as Paul Pierce coming out on a wheelchair because he had to take a shit. I don't know where we rank those two, which one's worse. Just
both pretty bad.
Comedy wise, I think Paul Pierce is worse just because it was taking a shit. But yeah, that for me, that I think that series is going to take a turn. And I was a believer in the Lakers, man, but I think it's going to take a quick turn, very fast, very very.
Yeah, I side with you on that. You don't bet against Steph Curry in a big time game. Simple as that.
They got to just go win one in LA, and then they got one at home, man. That's going to be.
You ain't losing that one at home. So you can steal this one. I think it's over.
I think their momentum's building.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Hey, y'all have a good weekend, man. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Later.